All right, so the next round we have round 3 here, and it's going to be the Black Boss versus Arax. The Black Boss, obviously no stranger to tournaments, been a competitor in many duels of Runeterra, top cutted so many different tournaments that myself and Boulevard have cast. Arax, pretty big as well. I've seen him in plenty of tournaments doing well, so pretty good round 3 matchup, not going to lie. So again, RuneCup number 2, round 3, Arax versus Black Boss. Okay, so it looks like they are challenging each other, so I'm going to go ahead and go on over to the game. Again, we are in round 3, about to do some Black Boss versus Arax Actione.
Is that how you want to pronounce his name, Arax?
Oh yeah, you said like Eric's, right?
I figured.
I mean,
it's weird because it sounds like Eric when I say it.
So I guess it might technically be pronounced like Arax. Or I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Anybody in chat, if you want to throw up some phonetic, we got you. That'd be amazing. So.
All right, the Submersible Special versus Frostbite Midrange.
Oh, he's still playing He is determined.
You cannot get him off this card.
He is determined, man. This card will be good if Black Boss says it will. Oh man, Black Boss. He's gonna go down in history. What were you known for, Black Boss, for Legend of Runeterra? Submersible. The hell is that?
It's funny because like I still think of him as the guy that played Hecarim Vladimir at like 3 duels of Runeterra.
Hecarim. Oh, that's right. Oh wait, didn't we cast that together?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was dude. That was one of the more original decks that I have seen that actually did well. That I was really hyped for.
Yeah, that was like our introduction to Black Boss,
yeah.
And since then, I do like that he didn't kind of get stuck on that one janky deck that he played and found success with, and instead has found multiple janky decks to find success with. Because a lot of people, like, they'll get their 15 minutes of fame with that one janky deck, and then they'll just ride it out, even though they never top with it again. But Boss was like, no, you have only seen the tip of my sleeve. There is so much more down it.
All right, so we see the warning shot right now up Black Boss's sleeve, and the Black Market Merchant going to come down as well. Always feels good. See if this... Oh, and there's the pilfer. You know what? Where there's a Black Merchant, a Black Market Merchant. Where there's a Black Market Merchant, there's usually a Pilfered Goods following close behind.
Oh, and steals a Trifarian Glory Seeker. That's a big pickup.
Yeah.
And that's why I love Nab so much into these board-centric decks, especially against Bannerman or Frostbite Midrange. Yeah, the cost reduction that you get out of Merchant lets you play such big, impactful units that are in your opponent's deck. And yeah, you have triple Avarosan Sentry, but I already got down Hearthguard. You know, who needs Omen Hawk? And just remember, I'm playing an Ezreal deck. Like, this isn't like the Sejuani version. Like, there is an Ezreal win con still hiding in here.
Yeah, and this Avarosan Hearthguard being played by Arax now is going to get most likely challenged by the Glory Seeker coming up pretty soon here on this next turn. So yeah, this is that's
I was
rough.
thinking of Make It Rain, but red card does it too.
Make
and
it
we
rain.
are now going to use that elixir. Oh, if you use the elixir here though, you don't have it for this Hearthguard.
That feels really bad to have to elixir a sentry. I don't know if you ever do that.
So if you don't do that, then your opponent gets to attack you for 10.
I guess, yeah, he doesn't really have any other options he can throw down. He can't play the Trapper this turn either. Yeah, wow, that just feels really bad. I mean, he could get off a Reckoning if there's no open attack, but there's the open attack, so never mind. I take it back. We're going to see, a lot of damage come through. This should block the 5/5 Hearthguard here, or actually going to block... Okay, going to get some damage onto... Oh, no, okay, he's going to Frostbite both of them.
Yeah, but the Harsh Winds doesn't even necessarily feel good because it does stunt your development for the turn. Do still have the Reckoning available for next turn, so that is something, but it will still leave your opponent with a Hearthguard, and I don't think Arax can get down anything else that will survive the Reckoning alongside this Hearthguard, so might just have to take a trade of the boards. Oh, misses the steal for Boss, though, so that is one less reduced cost card he's going to have available. But Boss still has to feel like he's in a really good spot, even if the Reckoning does come down straight away, which it looks like it will.
Yeah, I don't see any reason to not go for Reckoning. Not now, but yeah, all right, I was going to say, play the Trapper first.
I mean, you can definitely try and bait your opponent into playing another unit. I think that's totally reasonable. You're already getting the value off the trapper, that immediate Yeti onto the top of your deck. So I don't think Boss has to play anything here, though.
I'm curious to see if this Fury of the North comes into play at some point. I mean, we were talking about this previously as well. If that change, that nerf to only +3 attack as opposed to +4 attack, made a huge difference. And I haven't really seen it played that much to even say if it makes a huge difference, to be honest with you.
It was really only played in Frostbite mid-range and sometimes Indoor Spiders.
And that's crazy to me that they decided to nerf a card that really wasn't super prevalent. It's not like everybody played it.
So I think what they had said was they wanted to nerf Sejuani somehow because Sejuani was extremely prevalent, and they decided that Fury of the North was the way to go.
And there is the Reckoning. Gonna do work on BlackBoss's field. If this goes off... Okay.
But Boss still has the card advantage, especially now with a double reduced Pilfered goods going off. And, I mean, Arax, what are you going to do? Offer up trades of the hard cards? Boss is going to feel fine about that. If he stole any 4-cost unit out of your deck, he gets it for 2 mana.
Yeah, and the unfortunate part for Arax, too, is, like, he doesn't have... Even if he tops an Assessor, he doesn't have a wide field established to even get a lot of draws off of it right now. It will be buffed by the Hearthguard, so it will draw off of itself, but still just feels kind of bad right now. So we'll see if Arax is able to dig himself out of this hole.
Oh my gosh, and Boss just going totally wide on the board says, I actually stole every little unit out of your deck. So something that I did want to talk about.
Jesus!
Even just as I get my cake and I eat it too, I'm just going to destroy you with your own deck.
This is what makes you hate Nab. Like, this is... Like, Nab I don't think is inherently broken. I think it's fine. But it's so tilting to play against your own cards. Like, just having people... Imagine if you were playing a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament and somebody was just like, I'm going to take the cards out of your deck and just use them on my turn. Like, yeah, that would be annoying, right? Like, come on. See, and yeah, gonna chat with BlackBoss too. He's
you better put on that Frostbite mid-range hat.
Yeah,
or mirror hat. There we go.
I know, right? This might as well be a mirror match. Jesus. Yeah, and it's funny, you know, seeing something like Aurelian Soul come out now. It just really goes to show how okay Nab really is. I mean, Nab is doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to nab your cards and use them against you, and it's not broken, but it doesn't make you feel any less bad when you're tilted from your opponent using your cards.
And Arax has not been able to develop a board as he's had to use 2 harsh winds already to try and survive the last couple of turns. And now we're just going to see a Riptide Rex down onto this poor Omen Hawk.
What did this Omen Hawk ever do to you, BlackBoss? This poor bird just getting shot down out of the sky with a barrage of cannons. And going to go back over to Arax. I don't know if there's anything Arax can do right now. He's got a Yeti. That's a consolation prize, if anything.
Theoretically, I mean, Arax has the ability to get that Ash Surprise win con with the Crystal Arrow. The problem is, at this point, with both harsh winds gone, I don't think you get a chance to live, and even stole the Assessor, and there's going to be the surrender out of Arax.
Jesus Christ.
So something I wanted to touch on out of Arax's deck, because I talked about this when I saw the Assessor nerf, but I don't think we've had a chance to actually evaluate it in tournament, is Elixir of Iron versus Troll Chant.
I think Elixir of Iron in that specific, like, versus is... Or, sorry, Troll Chant in that specific, like, that versus this is obviously better, but it also costs more, so, I mean, it makes sense.
My problem with Troll Chant was that the nerf aimed at Assessor was a mana nerf, so you are playing even more mana tight than you used to.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you're always going to have that 2 mana for the Troll Chant that you want, especially given that you are playing a Frostbite deck. I don't know how much you actually care about that attack reduction as often as you're going to care about the 1 mana.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the inherent advantages that I've always been, like, a fan of with 1 mana spells, which is why I've always thought Elixir of Iron is just good in general. You know, being able to have a card that your opponent always needs to play around with you only having 1 mana is really, really big, because you're able to basically still use all of your mana on any given turn and still have your opponent worry about you playing something in response to one of the things that they're doing on that turn. So, I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with you as far as that's concerned with the Assessor nerf being a little bit more mana, but I don't know. I mean, Troll Chant, man, I've seen some... That 4 stat swing, the -2 attack and the +2 health, is sometimes really big in so many different situations. So this BlackBoss... Oh, is this is the Fiora Tarek deck, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
No, this is Fiora Leona.
Sorry. Sorry, Fiora Leona. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, see, now you're messing me up with the whole Targon Taric stuff. Jeez. And the Culling Strike hitting the Fiora pretty early as well. Wow, okay. So, I'm really, really curious to see how this deck does. This is the first time we've seen this deck, or at least the first time I've seen it, period. I think you as well, Boulevard, right?
Yeah.
And obviously the first time in this tournament. So, I'm curious to see if BlackBoss is able to do well with this different iteration of a Targonian Demacia deck.
And it's interesting because on the side of Arax, we do see the Fiora Taric, which is sort of the more usual version that we're seeing. Although I think still overwhelmingly, if we are seeing Demacia Targon, it is going to be that Allegiance version with the single combat and the Radiant Guardian.
Yeah, Radiant Guardian. I mean, I feel like that card, we're going to be on like the 12th set, and that card's still going to be like the best 5-drop in the game. Like, that card is just so good. And it's like, but it's so weird that it's so strong, but I don't necessarily want it nerfed. Like, I don't, it's just really good.
It's one of those things where, like, it's a very good card, but it's not a broken card.
Yeah.
And it's always like, you never want to nerf very good cards, you just kind of want to let them exist.
Yeah, exactly. Exactamundo.
Kind of like Hearthguard. Like,
Yeah,
I don't think Hearthguard's broken, like, he's just very good.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting, because I remember when I first saw that card with just the base set, I thought he was broken. I was like, what? Every card in your deck? One? That's ridiculous. But
yeah, I was like, this is the Shaman card that I always wanted to play, but it sucked.
Well, yeah, because I'm thinking, I've played Hearthstone, and a card like that in Hearthstone is absolutely nuts in that game. So to see it in here, and I was like, oh man, this is gonna be bad. But
okay,
good card.
It was nuts when it was Keleseth, but I don't think Mistcaller ever saw play.
Mistcaller?
I think it was like a 5-mana 4/4
the legendary.
that just bust your entire deck.
Yeah,
the Shaman legendary.
that wasn't that good. No, that's what I'm thinking of is Prince Keleseth.
Yeah,
but that was played literally everywhere.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to see, because I mean, Legends of Runeterra being a digital card game can implement things like the deck building restrictions, like the Reno stuff and the Keleseth stuff, and I'm interested to see if and when and what they'll do with that direction if they do want to take it.
I am interested. I know this is really random to throw into this discussion, but I've always just wanted to get this out into like the universe. I hope that they somehow implement either just one champion or across multiple champions that has a third level. I don't know.
Oh God, you want to like do that exceed stacking?
Yeah, like I don't know how or what they would do with it, but I think that would be very late in the game's existence. But I would like to see that at some point.
So in Force of Will, you have your, you have your commander, which is essentially the champion in this game. So like you have your front side, then you have your back side, right? Just like this game. Mm-hmm. But there are, I think, 2 of them where you can actually unfold the card into a third level.
You can unfold the card?
Yeah, it comes as like a folded in half card where it's like front side, back side, and then if you unfold it, it's like this twice as big third level kind of thing.
I'm not gonna lie, talking about folding a collectible card makes me very uncomfortable.
Because the card comes pre-folded, it's not as bad as you think.
I don't know, man. I never want to fold my cards.
You're never get a mint rating on it because it does come with a crease in it, but that's intended. You're never gonna find one without it.
Yeah, right. Can that ever be graded as mint? Like, is that possible?
I don't think the value of forcible cards ever mattered enough for that to come up.
No, that's just Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon.
Oh yeah, Magic. No, never had a valuable card.
No, Magic. I don't know. What's this Magic you speak of? So we see a lot of Challenger units on the side of BlackBoss here. It has the Genevieve out. Such a good card ever since she was buffed as well. I think she used to be a 4/4, right?
Yeah, and she sucked as a 4/4.
Yeah.
But ever since we saw her hit that 5/5, everyone's like, yeah, that's it. That's all it takes sometimes. Interesting to see, though, that BlackBoss has been able to maintain such an advantage playing a board-centric deck against Frostbite midrange that has already gotten off 2 Hearthguards.
Yeah, and 2 Hearthguards is... Oh, my God.
I think this is where we start to see Arax heavily take over the course of the game. Boss is sort of gassed out on field, and with Arax drawing everything at a +2/+2 advantage, we are at a point in the game where he can get down 2 units in a turn. This Babbling Beard can hit literally anything in the deck outside of Omen Hawk and, what's his name? Avarice and Sentry, but instead it hits Captain Pharaon, who is going to come just on time. Oh, and the leveled Leona. Doesn't matter as much without Raven, though.
I'm trying to pull up. So one thing I noticed, we actually haven't talked about this. BlackBoss is playing 3 Screeching Dragons.
Yeah.
So
I
what?
like this card a lot.
Okay, I was just gonna ask, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, so beyond this card, I mean, it seems decent. You know, it's Challenger, it's 5 health.
Yeah.
It's generally speaking, it's pretty good. What are your thoughts on the Fury mechanic in general?
It feels like kind of an afterthought. I know you've probably played against it as well. There's like that mobilized Dragon Fury Demacia deck running around. I think that deck sucks.
I think it's terrible. I tried it myself, and it's bad.
It's just like sometimes I'll just like actually just kill their dragon, and they're like, oh crap, I kind of like pillared on that. I'm like, this is not something you should be pillaring on. This is like, it's okay, but I think overall a lot of the cards are too vanilla for it to work as a general strategy. But I think that Fury comes up the most, at least that I've seen it, on Aurelion Soul and the Mind Splitter. Just because if we are at a point where my field is just A Soul and Mind Splitter and I attack with both of them, either you're taking a significant amount of damage or you're blocking both of them. And if you block both of them, I get to level my A Soul.
Yeah, and it's something I think a lot of people don't remember to play around is Asol actually giving himself more attack to go towards his level up. So I do like it for that reason as well. But yeah, I mean, I like the dragons like overall as an archetype. I think they're kind of not fully fleshed out. I think that it's like a spoiler that Shyvana is going to be coming in as one of the next champions.
I think they're really cool. I think there's a lot of potential there. I think they're just too vanilla on their own at the moment. Like Fused Firebrand is cool, but Spell Shield at the end of the day is not a real ability.
And actually, doesn't that one that's Spell Shield permanently until it gets popped, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I like, things that actually have Spell Shield like that, because it is permanent, and that's something that Barrier does not have. Period. Every barrier effect in this game is for the turn, which so I kind of like that.
I got baited by that because the keyword barrier says it lasts until end of turn, but prismatic barrier still says it gives barrier until end of turn. So when I saw Bastion and it said I give spell shield until end of turn, I just kind of assumed they had redundant wording and that all spell shields lasted until end of turn like barrier did. So imagine my surprise day one when I queue up and spell shield doesn't go away at the end of the turn. I'm like,
uh-oh. Yeah. No, Bastion's... I actually... So with Bastion, because I knew spell shield didn't go away, I thought Bastion was permanent for some reason when I first played it.
So we got it back.
Yeah, so I got it the opposite way. I was like, oh shit, all right.
All right, so seeing the stun down onto the Farron, I do like developing the Farron pre-combat because it means we do still get the Sejuani through, as well as we have these multiple decimates available to us. And we can use those on the off turn to go ahead and try and tick towards that Sejuani level, which typically we're not going to see happen in a Frostbite mid-range deck. We're probably not going to see it happen this game either, as that is the first time Arax has touched Black Boss's life total. So we are just at 1 out of 5. And now Boss says, I put it all on the table. This is my hand. What are we going to do about it? And I think that Arax is in a pretty good spot to win this game. He overstats Black Boss extremely heavily, has a very high life total to go ahead and survive this, even picks up the Reckoning to go ahead and clear off the entire board on his turn. Can't do it this turn, as the Screeching Dragon and Leona will be out of range thanks to the Cythria. Oh, and we're okay. I think you want to challenge. Okay. Oh, I guess we are going to kill the Sejuani. I think that's totally reasonable. Not actually going to work out because Arax does have these Elixir of Irons. Yeah. And yeah, I think Arax with this Reckoning is going to take this one home, and we are going to get to see ourselves a game number 3.
Yeah, so it just looks like the mid-range Frostbite does what it does best. It outvalued another mid-range type deck here. And yeah, I mean, I don't think there was ever a game where Black Boss would have been able to win out the value game versus Arax here. And we see that happening. These blocks are going to come through. Arax will live. He's got 2 decimates left. Only has to push through 4 more damage, which is basically just a Captain Farron attack, which will feel very nice to win with an actual Captain Farron attack. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, can even just... I mean, he has 17 power of Overwhelm sitting on board. Boss's 12 life.
And that Fiora is not going to help.
So even if we Reckoning and Boss top decks, say, another Leona, we still get to attack with Sejuani, push a fair amount of damage, throw out, and the Harsh Winds super solidifies it. Arax has it on all fronts, offense, defense, sideways, the Konami code's in there. He's got it all under lock.
Konami code?
In limbo.
God, nobody told me about the Konami code for this game. That's just press A, right? Isn't that what that is?
No, it's press K, press E, which is Karma as well. And even gets the Harsh Winds in response to the top deck to clear the entire board with the Reckoning, and that will just be lethal with the attack after the fact.
Valiant effort by Black Boss. Like, no, I'm going to kill the Captain Farron so you can't win with it. And nope, not going to happen. Reckoning coming down, and Arax going to tie it up there 1-1 going into Game 3 of Round 3, Day 1 Swiss here.
So far, this feels like a match of the Hearth cards. Boss stole one in the first game, got a big snowbally advantage off of that one. This time, Arax gets 3 of those cards. And now in the last game, with the Frostbite midrange being banned out of boss, we're not going to see any Hearthguards. Who will win now?
Yeah, actually, so do we know what was banned?
Yeah, it was the Frostbite midrange.
On the side of BlackBoss, yeah. So, but
Yeah.
what was banned for Arax?
Arax?
Yeah.
Whichever deck he hasn't played.
Well, wait.
No, I don't actually
No,
know. He's
because
played the
there's
Frostbite
two
midrange
left.
twice in a row, so.
Yeah.
We don't actually know.
Let me see here. Did he have? He didn't
I would
have deck codes.
assume the Targon Fiora.
You know, I pulled up BlackBoss's decks because guess what? He had links. Okay.
Yeah.
I do not have Arax's decks up. Damn it. All right, we'll see here in a second.
Looks like they're getting into game, so we'll figure out in about 3 seconds. I'm assuming the Fiora Tarek was banned, but chat probably just saw what was queued up and I didn't, so they're going to be like, haha, okay,
Yeah.
yes, okay.
Oh, okay.
I was wrong.
Fiora Tarek is not banned.
To let you know what was banned, it was Deep.
Deep, okay. And Deep, honestly, I kind of like that ban on the side of BlackBoss. I think Deep is super good now. And you don't catch me saying that about Deep too often because I have downplayed Deep a lot for a very long time since its release. But now, with ASOL being a thing, I think it's very much found its niche placement in the meta, and I think it's a pretty damn good deck right now.
I think at the last half of patch 1.6, you and I started to disagree on Deep, where you thought it really fell off, and I thought it was still a really strong deck in the meta. But I'm glad we can come back to a consensus.
Yeah, no, Deep, 100%, I think it's good now. And to the point where I even think playing Lure of the Depths is at least acceptable now because it helps in the ASOL matchup to help you kind of out-ramp the ASOL deck. But I still don't think I don't think it's a good card.
Okay, if you had just ended that with that you thought it was a good card, I was going to finally reveal that I was wearing a wire and this was a case into the kidnapping of shit. And you are an imposter who I finally got evidence on.
No, it still sucks. It's still a bad card. So let's see who is going to be able to win this matchup. So, so this is Fiora. All right, so Fiora Tarek versus Fiora Leona. This is okay. This was not a going into this tournament. This was not a match I was expecting to see. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it's kind of weird because anytime I think of a supportive Demacia deck, I'm thinking Lulu Shen, but of course Lulu is banned for this tournament, and I don't think that Shen necessarily pairs with anything beautifully. I still am a big fan of Fiora Shen.
Who's Shen?
Don't do this to me.
So actually that's a good point, right? Are we seeing what we're seeing right now with these Demacia Targon matchups because Lulu is not a thing right now because it's banned?
Given that Ionia was not present in these players' lineups, but they elected to bring this, I want to say yes.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I think you nailed it. I mean, with Ionia not... which actually strikes me as weird, right? Like, they're opting for no Ionia whatsoever, and they could have played Karma Ezreal. Like, so it just strikes me as a little odd. I mean, obviously they used P and Z for different decks, but I would have went probably the Karma Ezreal deck building route.
Well, Arax didn't. He actually left out Ionia and PZ.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that just strikes me as odd that he wouldn't go the Karma Ezreal route. But, you know, like I said, everybody sleeps on Karma Ezreal when a new format comes, and then they realize 3 weeks later that they made a grave mistake, and that it's still the best deck in the game. I'm kind of holding out that it's not the best deck in the game because I
Shen Lulu?
No. Karma Ezreal.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was about to say, I keep hearing a lot of people talk about, like, oh, you know, Shen Lulu's banned, or, like, Lulu's banned, and when it's not, then, like, Shen Lulu's just going to completely ruin the game, and it's like, I haven't seen any Shen Lulu on ladder lately. Like, I don't think anyone's actually playing this deck.
Yeah, and it's funny, too. So just anybody who is just joining us or is not aware of the bugs and whatnot, Lulu does have a bug right now that has been deemed to be too effective in changing the game state and allowing players to manipulate the game. So it has been banned. There's a few other cards that have bugs, but they're not as prevalent. And they don't...
Yeah, it's like Possession gets through Spell Shield, Judgment gets through Spell Shield, and, like, nobody really plays Judgment anyway, but nobody seemed willing to ban Garen to punish its Judgment bug anyway, so, like, we just kind of let that one through.
Yeah. And I don't even really think we see too much Garen in the tournament, so it's just those are very fringe instances, whereas Lulu...
Yeah, meanwhile, like, Lulu Shen was a deck that we expected to do extremely well.
So we do see the block with the Tarek going to conserve a little bit of life here. So BlackBoss off to a really aggressive start. And on the side of Arax, is that another dragon? Is that another Screeching Dragon there?
Yeah.
Huh? So obviously people liking this a 5-drop dragon here. I'm so hyped for when Shyvana gets finally released. Oh my god.
So I think Screeching Dragon does really good into mid-range and aggro matchups, and then something like, oh god, what is the card that this replaced? Why can I not see?
Swiftwing Lancer.
Now. Yeah, Swiftwing Lancer. Gotcha. Swiftwing Lancer feels really good against control decks. Like, we saw Swiftwing Lancer get a big resurgence when Karina was very popular, because it gave you that additional unit to try and fight against that control stuff, because it does have that 4 health breakpoint, so it is hard to remove. Your opponent uses a removal spell on it. You know, it's kind of awkward, but we're all good now.
All right, and I'm going to have the 2 Swiftwing... wow, see, now I'm about to call the Fleet Feather Trackers Swiftwing Lancers. Same amount of syllables, too. The 2 Fleet Feather Trackers should be able to deal with the board on the side of BlackBoss pretty well. We can even buff up one of them with a gem to take out War Chefs, or even both of them with a gem to take out both War Chefs, which would be pretty nice. Looks like one of them might get buffed, though, to go ahead and trade with the other Fleet Feather and still survive. So we'll see if that's the route that Arax decides to take here with his attack. Oh, man. This is the Traveler...
They have a name.
It has a name.
I think it's Tiari, the Traveler.
Legends. All right, hold on. This is a card that it was one of the first cards spoiled too. I remember that, but it hasn't really seen a lot of play.
Yeah, Tiari, the Traveler.
Okay.
So if I remember correctly, there's actually like a lot of lore behind this card. If I remember correctly, this is one that like has a story across multiple cards, because
gotcha.
The Traveler is the 4-cost Celestial, right?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay.
So I know it was a big deal because Tiari the Traveler is a woman. And then when they ascend to Celestialness as the Traveler, they lose their gender like a legendary Pokemon and become they.
I like the legendary Pokemon reference. Oh, man. Okay, yeah, so it looks like he actually is going to go ahead and buff the Tarek here. Tarek's going to go ahead and buff Swiftwing.
Okay, so that is going to buff up the Fleet Feather Tracker because a gem was played onto Tarek, which will let it take out the Screeching Dragon. Boss has no mana available. We're not worried about something like exactly... God, now I can't remember the name of this card either. The broken 1-cost spell. Ranger's Resolve.
Yeah, the broken 1-cost spell. I do, I agree with you. No, I agree with you. That spell is busted. The fact that it still costs 1 blows my mind. It's got to get changed at some point in this game's existence.
I don't know if it does.
I don't know, man. That just, it seems way too impactful for only one. Like, Elixir of Iron, that's 1 unit. You save 1 unit. That card literally can save 6 units in the best case scenario.
Elixir of Iron can also heal a unit.
Yeah. I mean, but that's a very small, like, consolation
but
prize.
It happens.
I don't know, man. I think at 2 mana, it's still a very good card.
I don't think it sees play at 2 mana.
Really?
I don't think I've ever seen this card played with more than 1 mana available.
Yeah. But, wow, so unfortunately...
Sorry, except for, of course, the god himself, Trick 2G, the double Ranger's Resolve.
Yeah. Well, see, and that was he's foreshadowing that it's going to change to 2 mana. That's what happened there. Oh, man. So we do see the Guiding Touch used in a different way than usual. It's again, to anybody new to the game, you can use a lot of these spells to heal your own units. And I feel like that's sometimes the more effective way to go about using them.
I can't tell you how many times I've been like, oh, Noxian Guillotine this Aurelian Soul. And I'm like, wait, what if they play... The
Shaping.
Heal 5 star shaping on the Aurelian Soul.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And it's something you don't usually think about that. Like when you're trying to think of what cards to play around, you're not thinking normally about them healing their units because it's not very common.
But I do like playing it here to get the level up onto the Tarek, so all future copies will be leveled, and that's going to be really impactful, especially alongside this Arbiter of the Peak.
Okay, so Arbiter of the Peak is main decked.
Yes, 2 copies.
So, I mean, the only other deck list I've seen floating around with Arbiter is the OTK or the Miracle J.
So I want to call it Miracle J, but at the same time, if you've ever played the deck and you're looking at your second J and you're like, this is useless, where it's like 2 gadgets and
it feels good,
and I'm having a field day.
It's not quite Gadgets and Auctioneer, but it's what this game has for now. But unfortunately, going to lose the Arbiter and down to really not a lot of cards on the side of both opponents here. Going to draw another Arbiter, which is pretty big right now, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
Awkward to get down, though. I mean, you can play it alongside your 2 supporter units, and it looks like that is... Oh, no, actually, is hovering the Screeching Dragon. I do think I like that a little bit better. I like the challenge onto the War Chef. We might even just see a pass out of Arax here if Boss doesn't develop anything.
So, I think, I don't know, this is one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of Tyari or even War Chefs. Like, War Chefs, don't get me wrong, is a good card. It's because it has 3 health, generally, is why it's a little bit better than Tyari, I think. But that's why I don't really like either of them, because they just die. Like, you get their effect off, and then they die, because they have to be attacking as well. And for Tyari to only have 2 health, it just feels really, really bad to have to send Tyari in right now.
See, it was always that's kind of the problem that I always had with Vladimir, was that the Crimson units don't do a lot in combat, but you want to send them into battle with Vladimir to get their effects off.
But then they die anyways.
And then they die anyway, and it's like, okay, like I kind of use them stat efficiently. All of them are pretty weak, like the supporter units, so like they're not actually pushing a lot of damage onto my opponent's units. It's very possible for my opponent to get very stat efficient trades there. And I don't know, it just always felt really weird to me, and I kind of hoped that they would rework the Crimson package like they did with the Mage Seekers, especially now given the drastic fall off in the playability of Crimson Disciple.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, if you give them, like, if you just decide, hey, Noxus actually gets supporter units, and you turn the Crimson package into a support thing, does that bust it wide open? Like, is that too good?
I gotta agree. I mean, the Crimson package kind of feels like it needs to be a bomb. Like, you have to have all your units go off the same turn and also win the game for you. Like, it needs to be the game-winning turn, otherwise it's just not going to do what you need to do. But we see the Leona come down from BlackBoss, going to stun the dragon, and this is looking to be a pretty good attack turn for BlackBoss.
I'm pretty sure this is going to be lethal. You get down the Arbiter, we see an attack from Boss, and then, I mean, every unit represents lethal thanks to the Cythria buff, and unless Arax can top deck exactly single combat off of this, actually he could draw a healing spell as well. He does main deck that Pale Cascade.
Yep, has to throw down the War Chefs
or the Guiding Touch rather.
Yeah, he would need Guiding Touch. He needs single combat.
Oh, I think with BlackBoss developing another unit though, he's not going to have the mana. Oh no, he'll still have 2 mana available. Okay, yeah, throw it down now. See what we draw. It has to be single combat or Guiding Touch. Involius Vox is not it. Involius Vox is one of those cards where, for the first week, I just saw something completely different in the picture than what's there.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I that was one where it's one of the few cards where I clicked the eye to like open up the bigger picture because I was like, what the hell is this thing? Like,
I always saw it as kind of like a crocodile mouth that's like breathing fire out of its top jaw for some reason, and then like. Six More Vodka posted their big photo dump of all the art that they did for Legends of Runeterra, and it's just this dragon wrapped around a mountain, and I'm like, I didn't see that at all. I saw a big old fire-breathing crocodile.
I don't listen. You saw more than me because I couldn't even tell you what I saw. I just saw like this bunch of fire, like a snake on fire or something. Like, I don't know, man. It was really weird for me. But yeah, it's looking like that's gonna be game. And speaking of this Involius Vox, like I don't know why so many people, it seems, are bringing dragons. Like, I don't think the archetype is fleshed out. Like, I just don't think it's a good archetype right now.
I don't necessarily mind Involius Vox as the only Fury card you play because it does self-activate, but I can't think of a deck where I'm like, yes, this is what my deck was mixing, a 6-mana 5/6 that gets random dragons when it kills something but doesn't have challenge.
That's what I mean, yeah. Like, it's not necessarily itself, like, in a vacuum, it's not a bad card, but it's not better than other options.
It doesn't have a home.
Yeah. All right, there you have it. BlackBoss going to take down Arax. So, again, if you're looking for lots of competitive Legends of Runeterra content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button if you like the video. And as always, everybody, stay healthy, stay positive. I hope it just works for you. And peace out.